I will reiterate what JJ said. It is cold out there, and all you got to say is that it snowed in Gulf Shores. Enough said. And in fact, I was talking to JJ about that today, and because his grandparents, they lived down there, and he used to go a lot. And I asked him, I said, when is the last time that it snowed in Gulf Shores that you remember? And he said he only knew one other time, and you probably know, 1993, the blizzard of 93. You know, we lived in Haleyville during that blizzard, and so we were there in the blizzard 93. I didn't know it was the blizzard 93 at the time. It was just a blizzard, but I remember somehow we ended up getting to my friend's house, and I don't know if it was there when it happened and we stayed there, but I had a ball. I only remember just having fun out there in that snow. Well, they had a pond next to their house, and it froze solid, so we thought. And we said, hey, we can go ice skating on the pond. It wasn't that much of a blizzard of 93, I'll tell you that. We really should have read our Bible first. And I want us to read a passage in Proverbs 4, 10 through 15. Hear, my son, and accept my words, that the years of your life may be many. I've taught you the way of wisdom. I've led you in the paths of uprightness. When you walk, your step will not be hampered, and if you run, you will not stumble. Keep hold of instruction. Do not let go. Guard her, for she is your life. Do not enter the path of the wicked, and do not walk in the way of evil. Avoid it. Do not go on it. Turn away from it and pass on. Now, I know this isn't talking about walking on thin ice, but it really does apply. And I had the title of this devotional as Walking on Thin Ice. And so we did not believe that pond was thin ice at all. I now know if you see bubbles, that means don't walk on it. But we again didn't know. And so my friend was 2 years younger than me, and so we just said, let's just go out there. Well, he decided to walk out. He ran. I walked. I got 2 steps. He got really far out into it. Very thankfully, he got into a shallow area, but you know, we went through it. Went right through the ice. I went to my waist. He went all the way under. He was gone. I didn't see him. Well, very thankfully, it was shallow. He was able to go to the bottom, jumped up, broke the ice, went down, jumped up, broke the ice, and walked out. And we went up to turn the heater on. He said, "Don't tell Mamaw." We learned a valuable lesson that day, and I didn't realize how serious it was until years later. That when you're walking on thin ice, if you're in a path that is not where you should be, do not go on it. Turn away from it. Pass on. We need to make sure that we're testing where we're walking. And we'll recognize the thin ice before we break through it. Romans chapter 12, verse 1 says, I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. The world would want us to run out onto the thin ice and not evaluate, not test. Just do exactly what the world does and follow them. Everything will be fine. No, it's fine until it's not. He says to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Well, how are we transformed by the renewal of our mind? It says that by testing, you may discern what is the will of God. Well, you can test whatever path you're on. Is it the will of God or is it not? Is it the will of God or is it your will? Is it you're doing what you want to do or is it what God would want you to do? How do you know? Well, what is good? What is acceptable? And what is perfect? When it comes to the path that we're on, is it a good path? Is it an acceptable path? Is it a perfect path? We can perfect our steps. There's always room for improvement. There's always ways in which we can improve and test the ground under our feet. Maybe tonight, you've tested it, and you find yourself walking on thin ice. Maybe you're trying to walk alone. Maybe you're struggling. The beautiful thing is God has given us a church family that we can encourage each other. We can rally around each other. Come back to the shore. Not Gulf Shores, but come back to the shore. Tonight, do you need encouragement? Can we help you in any way? Please respond now while together we stand and as we sing.
Harp the